Welcome back to Ravens Today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda, giving you all the latest updates on anything and all things Ravens. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the videos. As of this video, yesterday, got a dub, people, for on the season opener. Home season opener, if I may say. But still, it was a relief, that there was just, it was just depressing to see, this team, gave up another game when we were up by 2 scores, but this time we were able to close it out for sure. A lot of different moments in this game where it was just really frustrating to watch. A lot of good plays that we saw, but we'll dive into that later on in the video. Anyway, win's a win against the Browns, who always seem to have a way to get to annoy the Ravens a little bit here, and they annoyed us. While we did beat the crap out of them, they were still very annoying. Myles Garrett, wish he was a Raven, but he's not. Still a very annoying player to go up against. But we'll get into all that in a little bit. Either way, win's a win. Ravens are now 1-1, 1-0 in the AFC division. Moving on here. So, offensive highlights. We're going to get into this a little bit here. Lamar Jackson, 19 for 29, 225 yards throwing through the air, 4 touchdown passes, and 13 yards rushing. Only thing I have to say about Lamar's performance, at least in the first half, he wasn't really scrambling a lot. It wasn't really Lamar's thing to run and gun a little bit there. He just looked a little bit off to me. Of course, he still got 4 touchdowns, 225 yards passing, but it's this is nothing against his performance, but it's just I thought we could have seen better. But again, that's just it's still he was the one of the main reasons possibly the main reason on offense for why the team was able to pull away with this win. Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 23 yards. Derrick Henry did not have a great game. But he fumbled again. It's the first time it was a fluke. The second time it's a little bit concerning. I mean, of course, he's probably going to be kicking himself in the locker room, wondering why this is happening. But just something to watch a little bit here. Something to it just raises the eyebrows a little bit. Obviously, the Browns are, like I said, very annoying team to play. They were able to stuff Derrick Henry in the backfield a few times, and he just did not have a good game. Couldn't find any holes. That's nothing against Henry, I'm going to say, in the sense of he couldn't find any holes to open. Offensive line was atrocious for the second week in a row. But, these things, players have off games, especially for guys like Derrick Henry. He's allowed to have an off game. Offensive line, that game was atrocious. Daniel Falele, I've repeatedly mentioned his name in the videos, how I think the Ravens should just cut him and move on. In this particular game, though, even the announcers were mentioning how our guard position is our weakest on the offensive line. 100% true. Mind you, Voorhees looked better than he did in the first game. Daniel Falele, I'm going to critique the heck out of him on this. He looked like when you are a kid on the team that just doesn't participate unless the coach is watching, and he goes, "Look at me, coach! I'm doing this. I'm helping the team," and then he act that's what Daniel Falele looked like to me. He sure, he was doing what he was supposed to be doing, but it wasn't what he was supposed to be doing. There were some open holes there that were just I was like, why did he go to the right instead of just sitting and staying down, which would have opened a hole for Derrick Henry to go through or Justice Hill to go through? He looked like that kid that said, "Hey, look at me, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing here." It looked awful. I do have to say, Roger Rosengarten did not do very well either. Ronnie Stanley let Myles Garrett make a fool out of him a couple times, so it was to the point where in the first quarter where Garrett was at the jumped too early because he got excited because he sacked Lamar Jackson, stopped Derrick Henry. Third down, he jumped a little bit too early because he got excited because he was heating up. So again, offensive line really needs to sit down at a dinner or something and then tell Daniel Falele to get off the team. and just say, hey, we need to be on the same page here, because for us, even though we won, that game was awful for us. Okay, but either way, also, Tez Walker, what a performance by him, man. 3 catches, 3 touchdowns. Zay Flowers also had a day, 77 carries, or 7 receptions, 75 yards. DeAndre Hopkins had an amazing grab for a touchdown. Tez Walker, well, mind you, had 3 touchdowns in his career. I'm sorry about that. He had 2 catches, 26 yards. Both catches were touchdowns. This is Tez Walker had such an amazing camp, and we're really starting to see it now. Like, he was just an excellent route runner, able to get away from the Cleveland secondary. Tylan Wallace also made a good touchdown catch off of a blocked punt. Oh, amazing. So our receivers did pretty well, and this is where I really start to crack down. Mark Andrews had a dropped touchdown pass again, end zone, and I think it's time to really sit down and say, can we rely on Mark Andrews anymore? Mind you, I say he's injured. Hopefully he'll come back at some point this week, because he was practicing on the side field last week. I think it's time. I think it's time to, if I was in that coaching position, I'd say, what is going on? The narrative that Mark Andrews is one of the best regular season tight ends is now in question because of this. Mind you, drop passes happen, but again, when it's a easy catch and you just bobble it and it just doesn't land in your hands, it's really time to start looking at other options, especially this early in the season. Because I want to address this now rather than wait 8 weeks down the line, and this happens way more consistently. I just want to, sure, we can use Mark Andrews in a way where we can use the big man to get him the ball downfield, but then we put we put Kolar in for the touchdown, for the intended touchdowns. Okay, I think it's really, really, I'm sorry, it's just really, really time to address this. It's time to really sit down and say, is Mark Andrews, is his time as the starter over? I think it is. I want Likely to be the starter. I think it's time, because again, injured, but still, when he comes back, I really hope that he's going to be taking more starter reps than Mark Andrews. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Moving on here, so defensive highlights. Oh, this was Roquan Smith's prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, I still got it game, okay? So there was a sack on Joe Flacco. That was a forced fumble. Roquan Smith picked up the ball and he ran like you in Mario Kart when you hit the star and that music goes yeah, it was just that all the way down the sideline into the end zone. That's Roquan Smith proved to everyone that he's not slow. He is hitting guys and he is still fast. Okay, I think this was his real can you see me now game, amazing from Roquan. By the way, Nate Wiggins, first interception for the Ravens this season. Almost brought it back for a pick six, but added a few pounds of muscle over the offseason, and I guess that slowed him down a little bit. But still, great pick by Nate Wiggins, unbelievable, and it was just amazing to watch. Marlon Humphrey, there was a play in the end zone where he could have had an easy pick again for the Ravens, or again as in the Ravens would have had another interception again, bobbled it. Cleveland wide receiver caught it. It was a touchdown. I mean, again, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at the fact that he bobbled it. I think he was kicking himself afterward. It's one of those things that it's there's a really small chance it happens, and it happened. So nothing against Marlon Humphrey on that one here. It's just it's one of those things. Davies Robinson was the one who got the sack on Joe Flacco, by the way, and the guy who and then that was the Roquan Smith, um, forced fumble recovery and brought it all the way back for a touchdown. Either way, pass rush still needs work, in my opinion. We still were able to get one, but at the same time, it's like we really need to start looking at adding some rooks in there. Mike Green needs to get more reps. I'm sorry. I think he needs more reps, needs more experience. I'm really high on him, and I really hope that you guys see that too. That we're seeing something like we're gonna see something great out of him if the Ravens capitalize on him. But what do I know? I'm not a coach. Also, shout out LaJohntay Wester, who almost got away during a punt return and almost brought it back for a touchdown. Almost, like Cleveland defender grabbed his basically the top of his foot, and and Wester lost his footing. If Wester had kept his balance or like sped past the guy, he would have been gone. It would have been amazing to watch. It was like, well, you got one in preseason and you got one in the regular season, but 100% in belief that Wester is going to be the return guy for years to come. He is what the Ravens have needed for so long in a return man. Moving on here. So my thoughts overall, this game was frustrating to watch in the sense of we should have done better on offense, at least in the running game. We were held to less than 100 yards. It's not good for a team that it relies heavily on the run game. Mind you, it's against the Cleveland Browns, who the Ravens and it's just a division game where things are a little bit more testy, things are a little bit more frustrating on both ends of the stick here. And I'm sorry, Joe Flacco, you brought us so many good years on the Ravens, but no mercy on that game, man. I really loved you as the quarterback when you brought us a Super Bowl, but during that game, I was like, no, can't love you this game, man. I mean, you're the opposing QB, and we need to get to you. But I all love to you, and hopefully you're, I guess, not against the Ravens, obviously, but hopefully you get some wins under your belt before the season ends. But overall, this game was just frustrating. Like, it looked off. Like, the offense looked off. It wasn't in rhythm. The offensive line was off. Mind you, the Lamar was throwing it to the receiver. Like, after the second half, it was just bam, 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 touchdown, touchdown. It was just really frustrating to see that the Ravens couldn't get the run game going. There needs to be a sit-down talk with this offensive line and see like which one works the best. I've mentioned this many, many times. I'm done with Daniel Villele. I think he should be gone. And then we should really start looking at a rookie, really start looking at Ben Cleveland. Because no matter what, like, if your inconsistency is still there, even though you have one good game or one okay game or one game where it looks like you're participating like this game is, it doesn't matter to me. I want you off the team. But overall, defensively, this was a great game overall for the defense. I mean, Marlon Humphrey was talking about maturity and how we aren't mature enough, and there's some guys here that really need to step up. He had, I guess those words resonated because it was defense was all over Flacco. They got an interception, forced fumble, a sack. So I think hopefully this is a wake-up call for the defense to remain that consistent and remain that mature for future games to come, because we got the Lions on Monday night next week, and that could either be a shootout or a shutdown. So I guess we'll have to see how that goes. Thank you for tuning in to Ravens Today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. I will catch you all later.